We begin the day with countries around the world monitoring and quarantining passengers evacuated from a cruise ship hit by a deadly hantavirus outbreak.
The number of hantavirus cases has increased to as many as 9, but because the incubation period can be up to 8 weeks, according to doctors, the Director General of the World Health Organization says they fully expect to see that number increase even more, although he did reassure that there are steps being taken to try to contain this virus.
We're seeing people in hazmat suits. Some of the patients who were infected on the ship, they are being treated in biocontainment units that are designed for Ebola. There's 42 recommended days of quarantine. You say we're being very cautious here. All of what we're seeing, is that because the virus is especially dangerous or because doctors still don't fully understand this outbreak?
What more do we know about the Andes strain, how it might differ from the other strains?
So the Andes strain is the only strain where we have mapped human-to-human transmission. And I caution people because when we say human-to-human transmission, we're talking about people who develop symptoms. But because we're not testing populations with RNAs, we don't really know whether there are subclinical cases. So there could be more human-to-human transmission than we actually see. It's never good to track viruses through symptoms. We should be tracking viruses through blood tests like PCR. We've learned that with COVID. Extraordinarily helpful. Many universities were able to open and schools were able to open because they provided weekly testing and it really prevented spread. So we know how to deal with these viruses. We just need to move into the 21st century and make testing more widely available to those who need it.
On more cases, as I said it in my speech, we would expect more cases because, as you may remember, the index case, the first case in the ship was on April 6th. And until the report was confirmed as infectious, that's around April 24 or 25, there was a lot of interaction actually with the passengers. And as you know, the incubation period is also 6 to 8 weeks. So because of the interaction while they were still in the ship, especially before they started taking some infectious prevention measures, because of the interaction, we would expect more cases because of some of what happened during the travel actually, until hopefully the interaction until April 30th. After that, of course, they have improved the measures.
There are a further 2 suspected.
People are like, wow, this is a bit scary. It's completely new territory.
I mean, will we still need humans?
Not for most things. We'll decide.
Yeah. Overall, I think there's quite a bit of abdication of responsibility around like what are we going to do as people's jobs start being taken fairly aggressively. Luckily, there's a massive population drop coming, so maybe everything is just fate and it's going to work out okay. But I feel like we might get like very, very, very good AI across every pillar of art before there aren't any more people to make art.
So you wrote, we appreciate.
Hey, Shalom, all praises, honor, glory goes to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha, Quadash. Double honors to the apostles, Elder Bishop, the great millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings to you fellow brothers pushing this word in truth and sincerity. Shabbat Chanak, coming back with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha, Quadash, Shalom, peace. To the Lord's elect, okay, fighting for their faith in these wicked, evil times. All right, this is going to be an in-transit lesson. Lord's will, straight to the point, edifying. All right, and this is essentially going into lockdowns. That's the new flavor of the week with the so-called hantavirus. These, Esau, he has these things in his pocket whenever he wants to pull out a distraction or he wants to, move forward with the plan. Remember, the scriptures speak about, how they search out iniquity. Let's actually get that. So I'm gonna quote some scriptures mainly, but I'll get some scriptures too. Scriptures say how the heart of everyone is deep. Let me get that. I believe what is that? Psalms 64. Okay, and I want to go on to 2 Ezra 15. Lord, so I'm gonna name this video unless it's changed. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. This is taken out of 2 Ezra, the 15th chapter, maybe around like the 12th or 14th verse, something like that. What verse? Verse 17. Okay, and that's essentially what these lockdowns are going to do. And we know, because it's out of the horse's mouth, how the next lockdown or the next pandemic is going to get a lot of people's attention. It's going to be serious. It's going to be game time. They already ran the first distraction, okay, and the people fell for it. And this time, even if you don't fall for it, you're going to be forced to submit. All right, because you're pretty much interwebbed in this system. You can't live without the system. What is that? The Revelation 13 chapter speaks about how he calls it, that's 13:16, but many as did not worship the beast, that they should be put to death. Okay, I mean, if you don't follow suit with this system, you're gonna be fired from your job. You might love your job. You might have a career. You might be making good money. Okay, you might be paycheck to paycheck, whatever it may be. You might have good health insurance. You and your children and your wife, you can't leave that health insurance. You got prescriptions you gotta fill. So this damn devil, he's gonna come down with the hammer this time, man, and it's gonna actually be people dropping dead. All right, so let me find this real quick. Bear with me. Right? You know what? I'm gonna read. Yeah. Let me read verse. Let me read verse 1. It says, Psalm 64:1. It says, "Hear my voice, O power, in my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy." And the enemy is coming in. Okay? A sword is sharpened. Ezekiel, what is that? Ezekiel, what is that? 21st chapter. A sword is sharpened that it may be furbished. Okay? And that a sword is sharpened that it may be furbished. Slack, I got a text. Slack. Right in Ezekiel, that it may be given into the hand of the slayer. And we know Esau is that hand. He's the slayer. Okay, he's the sword of the Most High. Okay. So within this truth, we pray that Yahweh Shemashai keeps us from the enemy. Okay, and we know that precept upon precept how the Lord's elect will be delivered during these times. And in this time that we're coming into, a time like no other, Daniel, the 12th chapter, okay, we know that it's mainly going to be projected at you, so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American. Guarantee you are going to be the problem. You will be deemed the problem because you're going to be the one that's going to resist the most. Okay, verse 2. "Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity." Let's look at this word insurrection, because there will be a great insurrection upon those, all right, that fear the Lord. Okay, Esau's going to really, really come down. And who is those that fear the Lord? Well, it's going to be Israelites, so-called Black, Hispanic, Native Americans. Whether they believe that they're Israelite or not, we understand that they have a zeal not according to knowledge. So our people are very zealous for spirituality, for who they deem God. All right, and there's certain things that, our people ain't going to do. Jake is hard-headed. But Esau going to bring the real hammer down, and he's going to force you, Jakes, to submit. And a lot of you, you're going to be taken out. A lot of you are going to die before that even happens, through different diseases, through a famine, through being sent to war, and guarantee you're going to be sent out. You so-called blacks, and Native Americans, you're going to be sent to the front lines. So let's look at this word insurrection. Bear with me. Come on, man. Come on. Give me a second. I gotta look it up again. Okay. Ragash, excuse me. Throng. In company. Scheming. Okay, so scheming. So they're plotting, they're scheming like this. Like the coronavirus was a plot, it was a scheme. And they ran through with that. Alright. They did the Spanish flu. I mean, it's so many things that they do. Alright, where they plot and they scheme. They're in these secret councils. And what are these councils? What you so-called blacks, Native Americans, you Israelites, you're not invited to those councils. Okay, the council is against you. How can we destroy you covertly? How can we destroy you? How can we turn your family upside down? How can we get the man to fight the woman to fight the man, the children to be disobedient? How do we get the daughters to be whores? How do we get the sons to be sodomites? How do we get them into witchcraft? How do we further them in a deeper hole of Christianity? How do we bug their mind out? How do we get them to just want to play basketball and run track and, sing and dance, inspired to be a celebrity? Let's do that. Okay? That's their whole scheme. That's their whole plot. Come on, man. You get on the freeway and you start doing 40 miles per hour. That's crazy. All right? So it's called it's a scheme. All right? Let me read that again. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. So their words are as swords and arrows, killing instruments, if you will. Because they have the power to create laws, policies, and actually to enforce them. What policies, what laws, what ideas can you so-called black, Hispanic, Native Americans, okay, come up with and enforce these policies, these laws, these statutes, your will upon the whole planet Earth? You can't do that. You can't do that. But the so-called white man can do it, the one that is in power. Okay, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Okay, and we know that to be Esau, Edom, according to biblical prophecy, according to the Spirit, the heavenly, the Holy Spirit. Okay, he's been, and what we're seeing actually right now too, like his actions are testifying that he is the Edomite. Okay, his position that he is in the earth is testifying that he is Edomite. This is why he hides the fact, okay, that, he doesn't want to know, or he doesn't want the whole world to know who Esau is. He tries to discredit and demonize the Hebrew Israelites, which it's not going to work, but it will work on certain levels and fool the sheep. Okay, but we're not concerned about the sheep. They're gonna die in the slaughter. Okay. All right. The sheep that with no shepherd. Right, and you're gonna see Jake. In that time, they're gonna panic. Right, the famine of the word is gonna hit Esau. He's gonna come on all sides, man. He's gonna come on all sides. He's gonna shut everything fucking down. And you Jakes that haven't stored up faith, you're gonna be left out there, and you're not gonna have, the protection, because the Heavenly Father is literally going to allow Esau to come down on the earth. Okay, he's going to allow Esau to slaughter a large population of the earth, and this is their agenda. Okay, and you'll see it, Lord's will, in post-production. Okay, their agenda is to depopulate. We are going to experience that. We are going to see this. Psalms 91. Okay, but ultimately Esau's plan, with his agenda, his what he wants to happen in the future, we understand that it's not going to come to fruition. He's going to be stopped while he's actually doing it. Okay? It says that they may shoot in secret. See, everything is secret with this damn devil. He does everything in secret. At the perfect, who's the perfect? Another name for the perfect, or the elect is another name for the perfect. All right, that's another title for the elect, the perfect, the righteous, the chosen, the elect, the remnant. Okay, the beloved, the house of David. All right. Suddenly, do they shoot at him and fear not? And they constantly shoot at Jake. This whole society is built for you Jakes to lose. And what you call winning is really a loss. Because your family is all broken up. Okay? Yahushua spoke about that, how he came to, separate the family. All right? The father against the mother, mother against the father, daughter against the mother, so on and so forth. Okay? The divide. All right, and he's done that, a good portion of that through Esau. There's a divide. Okay, your homes are filled with sickness. Okay, disease. First of all, the disease of the mind. Okay, you can have a whole family in the household, and they all believe on different gods. They all have different standards. They all have different morals. What did the scripture say? At least. Two can't come together, at least they be agreed. The whole house has to flow. The father being the head of the household. Well, look what we have today in the majority of, I'll say, so-called black community. Okay, you have single father households. I'm sorry, single mother households. It's not too many single father households, but that does happen. That does happen where the mom, she don't give a shit about the kids. She goes out and she wants to live her best life. Tell me that don't happen. Okay? And the men get a bad rap, which is all the curses. All right, but you have a lot of women that... All right, I parked. You have a lot of women that don't give a shit about their children. Okay, and leave and go... jump on all different types of men, and then expect to come back. Okay, so the so-called Israelites are all jacked up. This is why we need Yahushua. This is why we need, Yahushua to come and change us, to clean us up. Certain Jakes might be doing good, but your whole nation is all jacked up. Are you comfortable with that? You comfortable to be the laughing stock? The proverb and the byword, are you comfortable being a third-class citizen? 3/5 of a human being? Okay. Everywhere you go, you look down upon. It's passive. They might not be overtly racist. They might be passive aggressive. Okay. All right. It says they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see me? Or who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Like right now, as we speak, there's Edomites, all right, in deep underground laboratories, experimenting on Jake, experimenting on our DNA, all right, torturing us. You think that's far-fetched? Trying to put bat DNA within us, trying to make a half human, half dog. Doing all manner of wickedness. Okay. Experimenting on viruses, manipulating them. They'll actually take viruses, which come from, different animals that don't jump to humans, and they'll manipulate it where they can jump to humans. Only the devil. Only a demon would do that. Right? But Esau does it out in the open, but he's giving you a laptop. He's giving you Apple, Nvidia. He's giving you, cars, you got the cell phone, you can take pictures, you can go on airplanes. So you've been distracted and wooed. Oh, you got you got fucking basketball. You got how many teams? 20-something teams? I don't know. 30 teams? I don't know. And it's always a team playing or a couple of teams playing every night or some shit like that. If you don't like NBA, you got college. You don't like college, you got high. You can literally be distracted all goddamn day. You don't even have to move from your couch. You can have food delivered to you. You can have alcohol delivered to you. You can have edibles delivered to you. Okay, you can have you got the weed man drive to you. Okay? If you like harder drugs, he'll still come. So everything is at a convenience. Okay? It says they search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. Okay, so they're tapped directly into the spiritual demon Satan, man. And everything that he does is nothing but a false miracle. Okay, everything he does is nothing but a false miracle. His medical system. Okay, you go to school and you learn this about the body. Yeah, there's certain things that it'll tell. Okay, with a fingernail. Okay, he'll tell you. It's made up of this much silica and that much. All right, okay, cool. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? But he studies this and he sounds smart. And then he said, we got to radiate you. And as you die, he just gaslights you. And then, all right, boom. He sucked out $150,000 from you. All right, on to the next. Okay? And our people, they keep running back to Egypt. Let me get that. They keep running back to Egypt. They love false miracles. Okay? They love the left-hand side. Children of evildoers. That's what our people are. 2/3, that is, here in America. And throughout the different countries that our people are in, they wicked as hell, man. All right, they be eating all type of abominable foods down there in South America. They be eating porcupine and shit. Like, why you eat a porcupine? But you can't tell a nigga nothing. And I say that I'm saying that for all the tribes. Jake is literally hard-headed. Like, they can be doing something that's killing them. Hey, look, I'm gonna still do it. Okay? But we're in a time where the Lord's getting ready to take away all your pleasures. And one of those pleasures is you moving freely. Okay, you getting in the car, going to different cities. Jake love to travel. Okay? You going to this state, you going to that state. The black woman loves to get on that airplane. She loves to go to the Caribbean. She loves to go to different parts of she loves to go to Europe. Even though she's not welcome anywhere because of her attitude. And you had a lot of our people that took those jump shots because Esau was saying you can't travel no more if you don't have it. So things are getting ready to be tightly restricted. Okay? Let me read this and then I'm going to go to 2 Ezra 15. Isaiah 31 and 1, excuse me. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help. Egypt spiritually is speaking about America, Babylon the Great. Okay, this is modern day Egypt, spiritual Egypt. And stay on horses, the word stay there means to rely on, to lean upon. Okay? So they rely on the goodies of America. They believe that, Esau's, when they look at this whole society, this is Edomite society. They're looking at like, wow, this is like the best. We went to slavery, but I wouldn't have it no other way. Look at Africa. They poor. Look at Asia. They're poor. Look at all these parts. They're all messed up. We're free. We got homes. We got cars. We got jobs. We got fried chicken. Chinese food. I get ice cream. I could travel. I could go to the gym. I could go clubbing. I can make, I got a job making $100,000. You got certain jakes that are in these high paying fields, and you can't tell them nothing. Okay, and stay on horses and trust in chariots, because they are many. They'll even you have our people even say, "Oh, we have the strongest military." Like Esau really accepted you as an American. Yeah, on TV to be politically correct, the virtue signal, all right, to make it seem like you're inclusive. But meanwhile, in action, you just a dirtbag in his eyes, someone that needs to be cold, someone that needs to be taken out, someone that has a low IQ, someone that he is far superior. Okay? And those horns are going to come out, and you Jakes, you Israelites, you're going to bug the hell out. And we're not going to even say we told you so. We don't have to say that. We don't have, look, once the Most High cleaves our tongue to our mouth like he did Ezekiel, that's it. We ain't got to talk no more. Apostle Gabar always says this, when words, how does it go? When words, something, what adversity will, when words don't, I forget exactly how. Let me see if I can. It's right at the tip of my tongue, man. When words. Let me see. I believe it's something like, when words don't teach, adversity will. It's something like that. Okay. All right. Basically, we're speaking words right now. And remember, we're coming out of the scriptures speaking the correct way, which you have individuals that hate it. You had a scoffer on my last video, scoffing. Like, bro, we in 2026. If you can't see what the hell is going on, if you scoffing in 2006, you're just completely out of there. You were made to be destroyed if you scoff in 2026. Like, really. You should be, if you don't believe, all right, cool, fine. All right, don't watch the video. Nigga, you should be preparing. Like, you should learn how to shoot guns. You niggas should learn how to swim. Okay? How to survive, outdoors, how to, get your survival skill up. Okay? Your bushcrafting skill up. All right, nigga, you should know how to sew in a patch. You got, you should be building up these survival skills. You over here a nigga scoffing, like shit about to go. They literally about to lock shit back down. Okay, you niggas gonna be at home. Okay, your movement is going to be tracked and traced. He gonna say you niggas got the hunter. Or whatever bullshit he pulls up out of his ass. He gonna say these communities are being hit hard. He gonna have to send in the National Guard. He gonna need different troops, the CDC, FEMA, all that. You niggas gonna get quarantined. Your children gonna be taken away from you. They gonna come up missing. They gonna drop dead in them concentration camps. And some of us is gonna be caught up in that. Revelation, what is that? 2:10. Fear none of those things that thou shalt suffer. The devil shall cast some of you into prison 10 days. That you may be tried. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give you a crown of life. See, we hold on to those words, so we're gonna have hope in that day. You so-called blacks, Native Americans, you scoffers, you scorners, you incredulous individuals. Okay, you're gonna be completely done, because reality. See, there's a thing when reality hits. You can't. You're like. You see those criminals. That thought they got away with a crime and they finally get snatched up. and then the judge reads, tells them reads them their sentence, 150 years. The nigga might be 20 years old. He got 150. He'll just faint. His jaw would drop. His continence, his life will suck out because you're done. You're done, and that's how it's gonna be for you, so-called blacks and Native Americans. You unbelievers, you scoffers, you scorners, you incredulous individuals. You individuals that were set up to be destroyed in this time. Are those that trust in Egypt? It says because they are many and horsemen, because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. Right? They don't seek the Heavenly Father. They're still caught up in Christianity. Like, bro, 1 second. Give me a second. Like, bro, Christianity is dead, bro. But Jake is still holding on to these traditions of men. Okay? And ultimately, it is what it is, right? Let's go to 215. It doesn't matter. Like, the Lord's just going to take you out. The sooner the better, actually. We want to get over with it. So may the Most High run through your communities. All you YNs, a lot of you YNs, you're going to get sent off to these wars. A lot of you YNs, you're going to die of starvation. You're going to die of the troops because you YNs, you're going to be the ones bold enough to, bust into these stores. You're going to be hungry. You're going to be trying to feed your big mama. Big mama going to be hungry. Keisha going to be hungry, and you're going to go and do it for the culture. Then you're going to try to be conscious. Oh, they trying to kill us, man. Nigga, it's too late. It's too late. Okay? A nigga always got something to say. Okay? Here it is. I'm trying to get on Esau, man. It's these niggas. All right, 2 Ezra 15 and 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Okay? And that's what's going to happen with these lockdowns and other natural disasters or states of emergency. Okay, martial law, constitution being suspended. See, and when these things happen, these Americans, they going to bug the fuck out. And excuse my language. Okay? They're going to bug out when their movement is limited. Well, it already happened 2020. That was literally a cakewalk. That was literally nothing. So small inconveniences. Was it stupid? Yeah. Was it, yeah, it was all that. Esau still did it, and he had the power to follow through. See, Esau actually has the power to follow through with his heart's desire. Does it mean that it's going to work? No, it don't mean that it's going to work. Does it mean he's going to be successful? No, it don't mean that, but he going to go through with it. He going to go. He ain't got no choice. He's being driven by a higher power. Esau don't even know what the hell is going on. The only ones that know what's going on are the elect. Okay? That's it. As crazy as it may seem, hey, it may be crazy, but it's true. All right? It says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And they're gonna bring out all these talking heads that they had during during the last scandemic. Okay, and they're moving quick too, because the last, the Spanish flu was like 100 years. They ran the 100-year. They'll do the 100-year cycle on pestilence, on like a lockdown. And throughout the years they always, is it H1N1? I remember H1N1. You had anthrax, the bird flu. You had these different strains. H1N2, H1N5. You got the Zika. Remember the Zika? You had the Zika virus. Or they ran that for a little bit. You had the monkeypox. And several others. Okay, that they ran through the years, and then they'll pull back. But we'll see if this one is going to be the one. We'll see. Regardless of the fact, shit's still going down. And it will only make sense that they do a lockdown on certain levels because the Strait of Hormuz is still closed. Okay, gas is still going to go up, even though Trump is trying to, stall the the federal gas tax. Okay, which is only like 20 something cents, 30. They ain't gonna make a difference. Okay, this is it for you people. All right, and then when you do want to, move around and go different places, just like he had the vaccine passport, but now it's going to be all digital. See, this digital system has to be implemented in order for the mark of the beast to be fully up and running. And what better way to do that through chaos, polycrisis? Okay, so hey, look, we're at that time. All praises, honor, glory goes to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakak Wadash. Until next time, shalom to the elect.